33-story hotel and condo project.
I'd probably be
Okay,
like
like
that.
stop, tap.
This is a plan by the community for the community.
This one here. Show me.
No problem, Ken. Thanks for having me.
It's Kent Mulgat for KelownaNow. And joining us is Steve Thomson, the MLA for Kelowna Mission. Thanks a lot for coming in.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so you've been through something, haven't you, recently?
Yeah, it was quite a start to the year. The getting the warning sign or the tap on the shoulder that you had some serious health issues with your heart, and getting that wake up call, but getting it addressed was so important, and
Right.
The fact that it happened in a way that allowed me to get it addressed without having a major heart attack was
Right.
so critical, and
So-
so grateful for that.
So I take it you were on holidays.
Yeah, we were, my wife and I were on holidays with friends down in Mexico, and this came up just with a quiet walk on the beach, no major exertion. All of a sudden got the warning sign, and the sort of manifested itself right in the middle of my back. I got short of breath, cold sweats and things, and couldn't figure out what it was, and went to a clinic in Zihuatanejo where we were. They diagnosed it as muscle spasm and gave me some anti-inflammatories, and I was fine for a couple of days, and then it happened again, and I said, this is not muscle spasm, this is, I've played sports all my life, I know what happens when you get a muscle spasm, and this wasn't
This
it.
wasn't that.
So I phoned back to my doctor here and to the cardiologist, Dick Cooper, who's a good friend of mine, and went through the symptoms, told him what was happening, and he said, I'm pretty sure it's this. You've got a couple of choices, get on a plane and get home, and we can get it tested and dealt with, whatever it is, or we can get you on something down there, but you're high risk and something might happen. So I got on the first plane, got home,
Right.
got tested. And
I don't imagine that would have taken a long time to decide.
No, it was a pretty short discussion with my wife and our friends who were down there, and everybody just said get on the plane and get home and
Right.
get to where we've got all the expertise here, with the new cardiac center and great doctors here, and that was the place to get it, whatever it was, to get it looked at.
Right, so triple bypass surgery. And
Yeah.
then what's the recovery like?
Well,
for that?
recovery's been going well. It's as you can imagine, pretty invasive form of surgery, and both with the opening up the chest and then all the incisions that you're dealing with in terms of where they go to get the veins and everything like that to do the bypasses. So it took a while, but you get the support and the professionalism that we have here in the center, in the hospital, all the way from the surgeons through the ICU staff when you're in intensive care, through the nurses, the nurse practitioners, the care aides, everybody in that ward they were just so great, and I
Right.
felt so safe there and looked after, and
Right.
and then to have the follow-up support when you're released and home to do the recovery, knowing that it's
Right.
there is really, the investment that was made, that we had a part of in making sure we had that investment here in the Okanagan and at KGH is just
Right.
so critical to our community.
Our healthcare system takes a lot of hits.
It does,
It doesn't
yeah.
matter who's in government. It's
Yeah.
constantly criticized, but your experience was pretty positive.
It sure was, and I remember I was born in that hospital, born and raised in KGH in the old Strathcona building, Dr. Anderson.
Yeah.
And I always remember when we were doing the milestone events, when we were building the cardiac center, the opening and the groundbreaking and all those things. I always remember commenting, well, it's great to have this here. It's nice to know it's here. So you hope you never have to use it, but
Right.
I had to use it,
Now
and I
you have.
gave it a pretty good test drive.
But it doesn't end there. There's a lot of responsibility on you to carry forward now.
Yeah.
So you've had lifestyle changes you've had to make.
Yeah, it certainly is. This is a life-changing event, and when something like that happens to you, so it is. You have to change the way we're doing, and you look back over before and realize that you weren't exercising enough, you weren't eating properly, the nature of this job, doesn't help in terms of the level of stress, particularly when I was in cabinet and had the big portfolio and broad part of government and things, and you needed more discipline, and I probably didn't have that. There was a little bit of hereditary nature to this in our family, but it was when I look back, I know it was this could have been avoided if I had done
Right.
some things differently beforehand. Now that I've been through it and recovering, I have to do things differently. So it is exercise, it's discipline, it's eating on a different regime, and it's looking after yourself.
And managing stress somehow. I mean,
Yeah.
we could probably talk for ages on that, but
Yeah.
you've sort of managed to sort of square away some ideas to not let things.
Yeah, you have to, the job is stressful, and stress is part of everybody's life. You have to manage it, and some of it is good in terms of keeping you focused and keeping you going. But it's all about having that discipline and balance, because eating properly and getting good exercise and having that regime helps.
Right.
It helps with the rest of the day, and you don't get as stressed because you're feeling better. I've got more energy than I had before, and
Really, you're already feeling that.
yeah, and people tell you that when you come through and get got a new engine in the car, and
Okay, well,
a lot more miles to go, and you feel a lot better.
Yeah. Now, so you've gone through this sort of crisis, but it could have been a lot worse. I guess for a lot of people, it isn't signs when they're on holidays. It's actually a heart attack.
Yeah, the way it happened to me, it could have been a lot worse, and when you've been the immediate surgery and everything, you come out of that, and you're a lot of pain and discomfort, and sort of thinking, this is pretty rough, but it's not as rough as the alternative, and to get the warning sign in a way that I could get it addressed, took the advice, and now working through the recovery, and the support you get on the recovery side of it has been fantastic too. I'm in at COACH, the Central Okanagan Association for Cardiac Health, and they're so good there in terms of getting you back in, rebuilding your confidence, letting you know how far you can go. They've got me on the treadmill and incline, and increasing the speed and everything like that. But you need that, to be able to get that confidence, because you come out not knowing, quite what you can do and how far you can go.
It's scary.
It is, yeah, and you go there, and it's a great, I sort of, it's kind of the happy place that you go to, because everybody there is been through something and they're all in recovery, and everybody's happy because they're dealing with recovery and changing their lifestyle and changing what they do. And you go in, it's just a bubbly, happy place when you go in the morning, and it gives you so much more confidence.
So is Steve Thomson, with the new engine, feeling good about getting back to the job of being an MLA?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. You miss it. I miss the teamwork and the colleagues. So we're on the spring break now and Easter break, but we're back in there on April the 9th, and I'll be going back and looking forward to getting back into it.
So a couple of new things. You're in opposition now for the first time since forever as an MLA. That's a whole different approach, and you'll have this shadow portfolio that involves trade and citizen services.
Yeah.
It sounds a little bit of a snoozer compared to something like health or education, but there's a lot in trade.
Yeah, there is. The trade component of it, critically important for British Columbia and for our economy. We're an open trading province. Canada's generally an open trading country, and there are so many factors going on around us that impact and can impact on trade. So you look at NAFTA and the trade discussions, the relationship with the U.S. You look at continuing to build our markets in Asia and the Asia Pacific and those economies. You look at some of the challenges that some of our sectors are facing, like softwood lumber, and the challenges there. It's an exciting part of that that economy. It fits in under the Ministry of Jobs and Technology and Skills Trade Development, but I'm sharing that responsibility with Ben Stewart. Recently,
there's another thing, having Ben back aboard and sharing something with him. So that's
great. And being neighboring ridings, he and I are been really good colleagues who will be able to work very, very well together on this. He's got lots of experience, having been our special trade representative in China and the Asia Pacific. So I'm really looking forward to it, because I think there are tremendous opportunities for BC, and we need to make sure that we don't miss those opportunities.
Right, and the more we get diversified with our trade, the more when we have to negotiate with the states and things get difficult, the more we're in a position of strength where we can let things hang for a while.
We need to make sure that the province is actively inputting in. Much of this is led by the federal government. They're the lead on the files, for example, NAFTA and the Trans-Pacific Partnership and the softwood lumber file. But BC has very, very specific interests, so we need to make sure that we have that input and linkages with the federal government teams that are working on all this, and the relationships with the federal ministers. So really will be working to hold this government to account on those important priorities for British Columbia.
Terrific. Well, great to see you back.
Yeah,
Steve Thomson, thanks very much for coming in.
Yeah, it's one I'm really looking forward to it. It's as I said, renewed energy, and I'm looking forward to getting back with the team.
Fantastic.
Okay.
And this is Kelowna Now.